Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, I wanted to give you a quick flip through of my new and improved completed October daily album from 2022. So if you have been following along over here with my Summer Ween series, I deconstructed my previous album from 2022, which was an altered children's book, and I have now retold my stories in this nice, clean, compact, life-crafted album that goes nicely with my other life-crafted albums from October Daily 21 and 23. So I'm very, very happy I was able to get everything completed. So almost everything that you'll see in here was a process video. There are just a few little things that I might point out here and there that I did do off camera, but the majority are process videos. So here I did cover up the inside, front and back cover with some of this paper. So this year I used the Prima Luna collection. That is what I had used in 2022. So I wanted to use the same collection so that I could deconstruct some of my pages from 2022 and use pieces in here. So we'll get into that throughout the flip through. So off camera, I did add, now this paper clip I used in my previous album, and I had just adhered down a couple of the puffy stickers, and then I cut out a piece of this acetate or transparency, and I cut out a couple freehand hearts on the front and the back. This one, I don't know if you can really tell, but I did stamp High October on it just for a little detail. I did this part off camera. And then here was my original title page, which says October Daily 2022. So then getting into the first story here, I kind of did a very similar approach that I did in 2022 where I created this little flip up. So I am using Velcro pieces, which I just get off of Amazon. They really help to keep little bits and pieces closed. So I just did kind of my opening journaling here. So some of the journaling I did retype up and I printed it off on clear sticker paper, but others I did use the exact handwritten journaling out of my 2022 album. So it just totally depended on that. So here I have a selfie with the little spooky filter on Instagram. It's one of my favorite traditions, a way that I typically open up my October Daily album every year with a little intro to spooky season. Then as you flip, my first story, now I don't have any of these numbered or anything. I kind of kept things in chronological order with a date stamp, although I just kind of stamped it like day 1 through 31, and there's not actually any specific dates that any of these things happened, but I just wanted to keep like a chronological thing going on throughout the album. But for my first story, I talked about the apple crisp macchiatos from Starbucks. So I am using the Sophie Alpha stamp, one of my favorite stamps from Citrus Twist. I love that there is a bold and just like a regular version of this stamp, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm using that throughout. So I have that there. I did change out this photo. If you've been following along, I had a different picture. Now, I do believe that this is the exact picture that I used in 2023. But you know what? I don't mind. So I don't have the picture that I used in 2022. It's just of me and my mom's hands, so it doesn't truly matter. So I just used the same one from 23. Originally, when I was doing this page, I used a different photo of me holding one of the drinks, but it was just my hand, and it kind of annoyed me because I typically always go to Starbucks with my mom, so I wanted her to be in it as well. And then here I used my little wooden alpha stamps from like Michael's or whatever, and I stamped Yum just for a little added effect. Now for the second story, I basically copied the page that I had in the original album. So I just created a couple pockets here, and then all of these tags I made back in 2022. So I was able to use them, and they are just of the spooky decor and also of the doggies. So I have those there. There was a cut apart sheet in this collection that had these adorable tags. So I just cut all of these tags out and added my photos on them, added a little bit of journaling there. Then as you flip it, again, in my album from 22, I had a large photo of Hocus Pocus 2. I feel like all of us were watching that during the spooky season this year. So this page, of course, was really easy to reprint everything. I just went back on Google and saved the images. So I have the big picture of Hocus Pocus 2. I used a different cut apart sheet that was in this collection, or actually this was a little individual booklet that had different tags, and so I used one that had the witches on it, and then I added my journaling. Then for this one, I'm sorry if you saw that fly. I think there's a fly in here. But for this one, I printed off different movie posters for different movies that I was watching that year. I had asked for some suggestions for autumnal movies on Instagram, so I found a bunch of new favorites. Then here, I really wanted a place for your eye to just sit since I had so much going on. So I ended up just using a piece of my favorite paper and fussy cut out a heart. And then I added the quote, "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers," a favorite quote, I think, of many of us for the season. And then I was able to start my next story on these two pages together. So this one is all about going to the pumpkin patch. I did have a lot of photos here. So I printed off this picture of me, full size. And now whenever I printed off or did my pages this size with the little adhesive, what do we call those? The little adhesive piece there to include it. I printed these, or I would cut these out at about a 4x8, maybe a little bigger. Now, if I wanted to punch my holes directly into the photos, an adhesive strip, that's what we call those. I would print these off at like a 5x8, so just a little bit bigger. So I did that. Then I did have a lot of pictures. So what I did was I used one of the Citrus Twist 3x4 pockets. And then I also have a pack of these. I always say Simple Stories, but they're actually Snap. So they're Snap photo flip pockets. And I use these a lot in my project life. So I just used one here, and then you can flip it up and see additional photos. And then on the back, I also did my journaling. I used that fun stamp from Ellie's Studio that says things like pull here, lift here, details inside, all of that. And I used my tab maker there, a tab punch. And then I did add some more Velcro pieces here and there just to keep it closed, especially when you're flipping. So here I have additional photos under here as well, along with another large photo and a piece of ephemera. Then as we keep it moving, I had my birthday to document. My birthday's 10/10, so I love that I always get to document my birthday in my October daily. So here I did still have this photo, so I was able to reprint off this photo of my cake, added in my 36, which was how old I turned that year. And then these two pieces came directly out of my previous album. So I had this little guy with my handwritten journaling, so I just decided to keep it. I added on another adhesive strip there. And then this was a really cute tag that I had made previously in my other album. So the top and the bottom photos are adhered down, but actually this one has a little piece of velvet ribbon there. You can pop this one off, and there's a little bit of additional journaling, and then there's more of those Velcro circles there that keeps that in place. So I thought that that was really cute. So I just added an adhesive strip there. All of those came from Citrus Twist, and I added a little bit of cute washi there to the side just for interest, and added this tag right into my book. Then on the back, I took off the paper that was on the back of that tag, and I decided to pop in this photo that I already had printed off from 2022 with Will. So that was one of my stories throughout my previous album. I didn't really make it its own story, but what I did was I have this picture of me and Will. I used a piece of this acetate or transparency again that went with the collection. I did another little freehand heart here, and then I used my wooden stamps to say spooky selfies. And then I included these two pictures, which did come directly out of my previous album as well. So I just tore these right out and popped them in, along with this tag, which came out of my previous album as well. And I just slit the paper, or I slit the page protector so that I could pop that in and out. There's that fly again. So I felt like these kind of went together just as the spooky selfies. I always love taking those during the season. I think they're so fun. It's kind of like you get to dress up in additional costumes, which I love. Here, I have this picture of just my 1 year of Patreon, which is what I hit in 2022. I didn't write any story to go with this, but I think that it's pretty self-explanatory, and I did just want to at least acknowledge that I had hit 1 year on Patreon at this point. Now, here was another tag that I had previously made, and if you look, I used the same heart shape here as this one. So for this one, what I did was I wanted to make a currently list. So I stamped that out on this little clear pocket that I made. I adhered it down using red line tape. You can see it a little bit, but it's faint. So here I have 3 things that I was currently into during the season. I did add some of the Velcro pieces to keep them closed, but as you open them, I have the new Cool Kids Club episode at the time, which was about Are You Afraid of the Dark? I also had the Grizzlies schedule, the basketball team that we love and support. And so in October, it's always like the preseason games and all that kind of good stuff. And then we had the Watcher. So I was binging that as well. And then on the back, I have my journaling from 2022 about those 3 things. And then you can slip that right inside. Then we have my first costume of the season. So again, I did reprint these 2 pictures here. I reprinted this photo, which if you're familiar with this movie, Ghost World, this is the cover of the movie. So I made this back in 2022 on the computer or on my iPad actually, and I removed the actual actress here, and then I added in this picture of me so that I could be on the movie cover. So I really love the way that turned out. So I reprinted that. Then this little booklet I already had made back then, and then I just went on Google and I found a page from the graphic novel, which the movie's based on, and just added it in for a little bit of fun. So here you can flip this out. Now I do have one piece of Velcro there just to keep it closed a little bit. So you'll see it's one of these accordion books. So actually I'll take this out. I used some more of those cute LA Studio stamps to say important stuff inside. So here I have a selfie of me with my graphic novel, and then I used just some fun paper for the back. I also printed off some other images from the graphic novel and just punched them out here and there. So then you can open it like this. Here I have my journaling, pops in there. Here I have just a picture from the movie with decorative on the back. And then here I have 3 more photos, 2 of me on either side. And then the one in the middle is of Thora Birch's character Enid, like wearing the shirt that I have on. So that was the outfit I was trying to replicate there. So super fun. And I love that I was able to keep this adorable little accordion album that I made to go inside of the bigger album. I think it's really cute, and I don't do those often enough, but I would like to add those in more often. Then for my next story, now these next 3 photos, I had to actually take a photo of my photo out of my scrapbook because I just did not have these pictures anymore, which was unfortunate, but I think that it all worked out. So here I have New Treat with a picture of they were like vegan caramel tarts that I made. I got the recipe off of the little blog of Vegan, which I love. So here I typed out the recipe. I have a lift here stamp from LA Studio, and I used another one of those snap photo pocket things, and then you can flip it open and see the entire recipe, which I really like. And then I used another Velcro piece there. For this one, I have an adorable photo of Penny with her witchy hat, and then also of Poppy wearing the hat with a little bit of journaling. Then this page, I had to finagle a bit because I did not have these photos either. So I had to use the exact photos that came out of my previous album from 2022. So I'd already cut my photos into circles. And then these 2 jack-o'-lanterns were actually a part of a page where I had used I printed off the full-size photo, and then I used my X-Acto knife just to cut around these pumpkins, and you could fold them down, and I have my journaling hidden. So I just kind of snipped those off, and I decided to make like a little flip down for each one to hide these other photos. So then I was able to fit all of my pictures onto the page. So I really like the way that that looks. That's of me and my mom, our completed jack-o'-lanterns, and a little yummy thing that I had made, a cinnamon roll apple pie bake thing that I found a recipe for. Then I have my journaling about that on the back. This is stapled on, but it does kind of move around, which I really like about it because you can kind of touch it and it moves. And then my last story is all about my final costume of the year, which was Baby Spice, and this was for my Patreon Zoom, which was really fun. So I just have like selfies of that. I love this page protector. It's always kind of weird, yet I always have a good time creating with this type of page protector from Citrus Twist with the 4x6 and then the smaller little piece at the bottom where I added my journaling. You'll see I do have a pull here. So again, I have a little slit in my page along with some of the page protector cut out, and you can see that I have a meme of Baby Spice from the movie Spice World, and it says, "You think I'll always be seen as Baby Spice, the sweet, innocent one, even when I'm 30? And I just thought that that was really cute and something that I wanted to include there, but hide it. And then on the back, I added the Shel Silverstein quote or poem here that kind of went along with making your own magic, and just decorated this bottom piece. So I love the way that this turned out. Honestly, I don't think that I could have fit anything else. It's pretty chunky, and I was able to tell all the stories that I wanted to. I only missed, I think, 2 stories. I'm pretty sure. That's what I was saying in the last video. And they were like, one was a fall treat. That was me using some of my leftover caramel for apples, and I didn't have a picture and it wasn't easy to recreate. And my other one was my spooky TBR. I thought about taking a picture of a couple of the books, but I didn't have that photo. I felt like I'd already talked about the media stuff enough, and I didn't feel like I was really missing anything by not telling either one of those stories. So besides those, I was able to tell everything. It's nice and chunky. Everything fits in here great, and I'm just so happy to have redone it. That was something that was really just on my mind, but on the back burner, and it feels amazing to have it done. And it was so fun to work on some spooky content during the summer. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my Summerween series. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back at you super soon with another video. Bye, y'all.